All right, Academy football fans, it's time for our premiere. That's right, premiere is the first ever Unforgettable Moment. As you know, this is our second season, and one of the things we're doing in our second season is we are working to kind of capture exactly what these Army, Navy, Navy, Air Force, Army, Air Force rivalries mean, not only to the players and the coaches, but also to the fans and the families and the younger generations as well. And so I'm pleased to welcome to this Behind the Lines episode of Unforgettable Moments, a really dear friend, Ted Gregory. We've been friends for several decades, at least 3. So when we first started the football show, I was sitting having dinner with Ted, and he asked me about the show, and I started to explain the Behind the Lines in the Academy Football Report. And he told me his father, Theodore Osmer Gregory, also known as Ted, happened to be a graduate of West Point and also ended up teaching at Navy. You know, Ted, if you'd be so kind as to tell us a little bit about your father. How is it that he ended up at Navy?
Well, I gather it was a strange set of events where my father ended up as an instructor at the Naval Academy. They had just sent him to USC to get his graduate work done in mechanical engineering. And I guess they figured it was a good idea now to have him teach it. Interesting in that he had never been a teacher before. But anyway, so he was assigned to the Naval Academy. This is the mid-60s. He was there for 3 years. And all in all, turned out to be a very good assignment for him. But, you know, what are your chances of having that job? I think they're just absolutely minuscule. But I think he and our entire family in the long run are quite happy about it.
Well, and let's go back and set the stage. Your dad wasn't just any teacher at Navy. Tell us a little bit about his football career at Army.
Well, he went into West Point in 1948 when Red Blake was the coach and Vince Lombardi was the offensive coordinator. And of course, in 51 was the great cheating scandal, which, you know, depleted the team quite a bit. So he played largely in 1952. He was a defensive tackle. In those days, you could be a 200-pound defensive tackle. You know, a lot of times your military father doesn't really say much about his military experience, but at one point I remember him saying that he was known as Killer Gregory. So that year, 52 in particular, was a tough year with the Army-Navy rivalry, and that I believe the score was Navy 42, Army 7. So didn't end well that year.
Well, for Army. I'm pretty sure Navy was pretty happy about it.
I think they were, yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty happy about halftime, I think, yeah.
So fast forward to the rally for Navy, and tell me what your father did.
Right. Well, I guess usually at the Navy pep rally in Annapolis, which is, if you haven't seen it, it's a big affair, enormous bonfire, the entire brigade of midshipmen. They build a whole platform, and you know, it's the typical rally where, you know, the soup is up there and the commandant and all the rah-rah that goes with it, and it's a high-spirited affair. So somehow they decided to give, you know, 5 minutes to the Army, and my father was, you know, selected to defend the Army, and so he was dressed in his full uniform. The platform, I was about 10 at the time. It was a bitter cold November night. I was at the bottom of the platform holding his coat, and he spoke for just a few moments and talked about how often in warfare the difference between victory and defeat is the element of surprise. At which point he whipped off all his upper clothing, so now he was standing bare-chested, and he had "Beat Navy" written across his chest. And what was, I'll remember the rest of my life, there was just this enormous roar, maybe the loudest roar I've ever heard from the entire brigade of midshipmen. And he thought it wise to, quickly get off the platform. So I was at the bottom. I'm about to give him his coat when about 10 midshipmen grabbed him and they hustled him off toward the reflection pool. And apparently he was about to go in, but it was so bitter cold that his aide saved him from that. So we have a wonderful family picture of that one of the middies took, God bless him, at the time, of Dad in the clutches of the midshipmen, bare-chested with the beat Navy. So it was certainly one of our memorable experiences, and I'm sure of his career.
Yeah, no doubt, an unforgettable moment. Listen, Ted, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We know that these rivalry games have touched so many families, so many generations in these families, and it's just a treat for us to get a chance to hear your story, your dad's story, and to share it with others. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Well, sure.